I'm Jim Lee. I'm co-publisher of DC Entertainment. I'm also a comic book artist.
Let's start by talking about, for people who haven't been to either one of these shows, what are some of the differences between New York and San Diego Comic-Con?
San Diego is a little bigger, I think, but New York has come a long way in the past year or so. But they really focus on pop culture, comic books. San Diego might have a little more Hollywood stuff. In fact, they have a lot more Hollywood stuff. But again, New York has kind of changed over the years as well. And San Diego typically has a little nicer weather. So, speaking as a hometown boy, I would say that San Diego is a lot of fun, and New York is a blast too. Very different kind of crowd too. East Coast tends to be a little more rambunctious, just kind of given the type of fans that you get out on the East Coast versus the West Coast. West Coast a little more laid back, but both a celebration of pop culture.
When it comes to comic books, what is new when it comes to DC this year?
We're continuing the success of New 52. We launched it just, I guess, a year ago. It feels like it's been several, but it was a year ago. And then we celebrated that launch with 0 month. So all of September we did 0 issues for the whole 52. Really to celebrate and really drive home the fact that we're trying to create fan-friendly, very accessible storylines. And so every year we're looking for reasons to bring in new readers back into the fold and get people excited about comic books.
What impact have you seen digital comic books have in getting a new generation interested in this art form?
Yeah, that's a great question. Digital comics, people really feared the advent of digital comics. They thought it would cannibalize sort of traditional print sales. But we've been very fortunate, and we've seen great digital sales and actually increased print sales, which I don't think any other print business can point to or attest to have that kind of success. So we really do feel that people are out there buying digital comics because it's very accessible, very easy to do. You don't necessarily have to find your comic book shop. You have younger kids trying out digital comics, and maybe they can kind of share the hobby with their older parents who are buying the print comics. It's become very multi-generational. We really see digital comics as a way of reaching new audiences very, very easily, which we couldn't do before when we were selling just in the direct market.
What role do you see the print comic book playing today in today's digital world?
The print comic, there is a big difference. Well, not a big difference. There's a difference between print comics and digital comics. It's not like music where it's really the same experience that you're getting regardless of how you actually purchase the music. For comic books, if you do a double-page spread, for example, it is very large and it's something that's very panoramic and it fills the whole screen, right? If you get it digitally, it actually shrinks down to the smallest screen that you've got. So actually, the smaller panels in a digital comic will blow up, and the bigger panels actually shrink down to fill that space, which is the complete opposite in a print comic. So there is a subtle difference in the reading experience, and I think also just in terms of, collectability. A lot of people like having things that they collect, and comics are the foremost thing that collectors are into these days.
And speaking of the print comics, what impact have you seen the big blockbuster movies having on growing your audience?
Sure. You know what? It's great that these movies are out there, and it's even better that they're so successful because it's really driving, I think, new fans into our business. I mean, everyone now knows who Batman, Superman, and Justice League are, and we're very excited to, have that opportunity to find these new readers through the movies and through the games and the TV show. We just successfully showed Arrow debuted yesterday and had great ratings, and that's a great win for comics, and it's a great win for our business because this is the stuff that creates all the inspiration for all these wonderful adaptations of our characters.
And what do you see as the challenges moving forward when it comes to comic books?
It's interesting. Comics can be a grueling business. There's no other entertainment business where you're putting out story week after week. There's no off season. There's no downtime where you're sort of prepping the next film. You have to put out a Batman story each and every month, and we have several Batman books, so you're constantly putting out these stories. So there is that need to innovate constantly, and these characters have been around for 70, 75 years, and so there's that component of it. Luckily, we work with some great creators. Have a tremendous amount of passion for these characters and for comic books, for the art form, and it keeps you on your toes. It's a great business to be in.